Okay guys, so now we'll talk about the solar LT panel more into detail. So first point is the small incoming breakers. So these are the small incoming breakers. Suppose there are 10 inverters whose output you are going to combine into this particular solar LT panel, then you will require such 10 small incoming breakers. So I told you how to calculate the size of this particular breakers. I'll repeat it again. Suppose now the output current of your inverter is maximum 39 ampere. Then you will select the breaker of the next size, or you can also take 30% extra and choose from the standard sizes. So that is why we are using 63 ampere in our particular scenario. So similarly you will require 10 such breakers where you will connect the output of the 10 inverters, and then the output of this breakers you will connect it to the main bus bar by the small bus bars. So how you will calculate the size of bus bar? So the size of bus bar will be different for different conductors. So mostly aluminum and coppers are used. So for calculating the cross sectional area of the bus bar, this is the formula. You need to divide the current by the current density. If you are considering aluminum, then you need to divide the current of your system by current density. For an example, if we check the last SLDS, so here you see that our current was coming something around 400 ampere. So what you will do here, you will divide 400 by 0.8 in case of aluminum and 1.6 in case of copper. Here I get the cross sectional area 500 mm square. So what I will do then, next step, I will refer the standard size of the bus bar available to my with my supplier or in the market. So I know from my experience that 50 by 10 mm square, bus bar is available in the market, and that is close to 500 square mm. So this will be suitable for my particular application. So I will select that particular bus bar. So this is one point. Now you are aware how to calculate the size of the bus bar. The next point is the spacing. So here you can see that spacing between the phases as well as with respect to neutral or earth needs to be maintained. So for LV applications, the phase to phase distance should be 25 mm, whereas phase to neutral or earth should be minimum 19 mm. So this you need to follow. So after bus bar, we need to calculate the size of the main breaker. So calculating the current carrying capacity is very simple. As we have calculated already the current for our solar LT panel, that was 400 ampere, we can select the breaker as 400 ampere. But here now you also need to consider some other factor as well, because like if you, as you can see in this diagram, the output of the solar LT panel is connected to the injection point. Injection point is basically the point at which you are excavating all the solar power, which is going to be in the client's electrical system. The fault current, suppose there is a fault in client system, then there is a chance that that current will flow to your LT panel through that injection point breaker. So the capacity of this particular breaker, the fault current capacity of this breaker as well as the main cable, the output cable from the solar LT panel to the injection point, should be capable of handling that fault current. So how you will calculate the fault current? I will link a video which was very useful for me to understand the concept of fault current. I will mention it in the description. You can also refer to the same video. It is very simple, and if you don't want to do the calculation, I have one more idea which is very easy for you to refer and to know the fault current. Actually, whenever the client system is designed, it must have been designed with the standard calculations. So if you see the breaker of the client in the panel which you are going to inject this solar power, so if you see the fault current rating of that particular breaker, you can use the same rating, fault current rating, for your breaker. The capacity or the rating should be same. Okay, this was one thumb rule which I follow sometimes, but it is better to cross check it. Then we'll talk about current transformer and meter. As you can see here, these are the CTs. In every phase there will be one CT. So at this particular application we are using this CT for measurement purpose, okay, because the protection is already provided in the breaker. Here we just want the CT for measurement of power. So whenever you want to select a CT for measurement of power, so you should select it with better accuracy. The rating for the CT will be depending upon your system current again. Now you can take one more thumb rule, that as your MCCB is of 400 ampere, then your CT will be 400 ampere by 5 ampere or 1 ampere depending upon which you are choosing for your system. This is one point. And then talking about accuracy, so for measuring purpose you can use from class 1 to 0.5 to 0.2s. So you need to use good accuracy class CT as well as the meter to have good accuracy for measurement. And burden, it depends basically upon on how much meters you are taking the reading. Okay, so if you are going to connect 2 or 3 meters, then you should select more burden, or the capacity of the CT should be more. Next is the main outgoing cable. So that I already explained you, but still again I will tell you in brief. It should be able to handle the fault current from the client system. Second is it should be suitable for carrying the system current with less voltage drop. And then next is you need to consider the grouping factor, laying factor and temperature factor. So now whenever you are laying this cable from LT panel to the injection point, you are going to lay this either from the duct or from the trench, or you are going to take it from the cable tray. So suppose there are existing cables, so you need to maintain some distance, suitable distance from those cables, because that will affect the current carrying capacity of your particular cable. So that is basically the grouping factor. And next, laying. If you are laying the cable from the duct, it will again reduce the current carrying capacity of the cable. So you need to make sure that you consider these factors. And next is the temperature factor. The detailed calculation of cable sizing you can refer to my video. The links will be provided in the description. And next important component which is present in the solar LT panel is the SPD. This is basically a surge projection device. So you need to have DC as well as AC SPD. So we'll again go back to the single line diagram. So here you can see, here is the AC SPD, and here DC SPD is not shown in SLD because it is already included in the inverter. But you need to make sure you confirm this from the datasheet as well as from your inverter supplier or manufacturer. So suppose the DC SPD is not available in the inverter, then you need to install it manually. So you can choose the rating from 20 kiloamps to 25 kiloamps or maybe more, depending upon the chances of lightning at particular location. So if you want to know more about the SPD, refer to my video. The link is popping up on your screen as well as in the description. In that video I have mentioned what are the factors on which the selection of SPD will depend. So that will give you brief idea and enough clarity about which rating of SPD should be selected for a particular application. Okay guys, so this was it about the single line diagram. So in every project moreover this will be same, but before that I would like to tell you 2 points. First is this scenario. In case of center inverter, what will be the change in the single line diagram? Okay, that I will tell you. So we'll go back to the SLD. So here in string inverter, the strings are directly connected to the inverter. But in case of center inverter, at this particular portion, there will be a SMB or DC combiner box where you basically combine the number of strings into a DC combiner box. Okay, so I'll just give an example. Almost 20 to 24 strings are connected in parallel or combined in a DC combiner box, and then such 10 combiner box, or you can say 12 depending upon the rating of the combiner box, these are connected to the input of the center inverter. Okay, then the output of this center inverter, that is the AC output, is given to the transformer. This is basically a step up transformer which step ups the voltage to 6.6 kV or maybe 11 kV or 33 kV depending upon your application. Then this output of this transformer is connected or feed into the MV or HT panel where it has all the protections and the main breaker available, and from there again a HT cable or MV cable is laid till the injection point. This was it. And guys, I also want to add one more point about the injection point. So in many cases the injection points may be more than one. Suppose there is panel A of the client here, panel B here and panel C here. So you can connect each of this LT panel separately into that client's panel. But suppose they have only one injection point, then you need to combine this power. Okay, either you can terminate all the cables in this injection point breaker, okay, or you can combine it just before this injection point and then connect the output to the injection point. So it will vary as per your site scenarios. Okay guys, so this was it from my side. I hope you have got enough clarity from this video. The video has become lengthy. If you have any kind of doubt, do let me know in the comments, and if you want more clarity on few of the components, then do let me know. I will surely make a video for you guys. And also subscribe to our channel and follow us on the Instagram account. The details are on your screen. Okay guys, see you in the next video.